Hey everyone, MrAweshum here, and let's take a look at the SU-76M. So first off here, just a little bit on the stats here. The armor values, the front upper lower should be about 35mm with a bit of a slope. Sides are 16mm, at least they should be, so very paperish armor, especially for a medium. You can buy it for 68,000 credits, or 800 gold, 810 gold, and you unlock it with 6th grade of armor assault, so pretty easy to grind to. Now, some other numbers here to consider. You've got armor piercing, and then you've got the high velocity armor piercing, and so you're always going to want to grind for that high velocity armor piercing, and that's going to give you about a 10 to 15mm penetration increase compared to the regular rounds, and it's going to give you quite a decent boost on damage, and even more important, velocity, which definitely you want that velocity in tank battles, and especially with this little tank here. Yeah, the damage number isn't too great, it's about a 3-shot on most medium tanks, but hey, what can you say? It's a tier 1 TD, so it's to be expected a bit. So let's get into some action now, see how it plays. Alright, so starting off here, we've got an SU-76, and we've got the bigger SU-85. Now, you'll notice that the SU-85 is quite a bit faster than the 76, and it's also quite a bit larger too, so that makes the SU-76 a smaller target. Now, when checking out the other key features of the SU-76, the reverse speed is actually faster than the SU-85, so that's really the one trade-off here. The 85 is faster, it can get into better positions faster. The 76, it can back up and get out of places. You also got a fairly decent tank sight here, and you'll notice that because the damage on the SU is lower, you're almost always going to be rolling either 2 or 3 damage, which means that the majority of tanks that you do go up against, you'll have to 3-shot them, and you're a tank destroyer, you already have less health, so all they need for a majority of any other tank fighting you, they just need 2 shots. So you're pretty much always going to have to get the first shot and the second shot, which is why, say, just being sneaky and hitting tanks from the flank is very important, or working with a buddy so you both can just sling 2 shells at the same time and knock out any opponent. So now I'll leave you guys with some gameplay, so I hope you enjoy it, and we'll come back and do a wrap-up on the SU-76.
dumb that you don't get any squad experience.
Alright, welcome back, guys. Hope you enjoyed some SU-76 action there. So, let's check out some pros and cons now. The cons on the SU-76 are pretty obvious. It's got low health, low damage, it's got paper armor, it's a conventional TD, just meaning that it doesn't have a turret. Its zoom seems to be not as good as the SU-85, which is understandable. It's the tier 1 tank destroyer. It's got little depression, just again because it's conventional TD and based on where the actual gun is located. And when I was slaying this tank, just AT infantry were all over me. It's not the fastest tank, it has a hard time getting away, and yeah, it's just it's a pain to play sometimes. But let's look at the positives with some pros now. So for pros here, pretty easy to the point. It's a fairly small tank, so it can help when you want to just hide in a forest or just ambush people. It's a cheap tank, it's very easy to maintain, and just you can make a good amount of credits if you're playing this tank and you score, pretty decent. If you die, it's not going to cost you that much. It's got a good optic, so there's not a whole bunch of just distractions on the screen. It's just plain simple optic. It's good. It's very easy to achieve since you only need just rank 6, and then that also goes with its sword cheap to buy. It's only 68,000 credits. Really easy to get. This resource plentiful. It being a medium tank destroyer, you're pretty much always gonna be able to play it and just have a whole bunch of spawns as a Russian tanker. And it's got a decent shell velocity, which I kind of liked about it. Just I was able to get shots on target, even though it was say a 3-shot kill. It was still pretty accurate and just good shell velocity. So as a wrap up for the SU-76, it's got some decent pros. I mean, just the main things that it's a cheap tank, and it being a tier 1 tank destroyer, you really shouldn't expect too much out of it. If anything, it makes you sort of just appreciate and hope that you can just get the SU-85, which is just a better overall TD. So it kind of is a small stepping stone to that better tank. And yeah, it's got some flaws, being doesn't have armor and it's a 3-shot to kill, but with all those taken into account, you should be a pretty good tanker. If you're used to just always 3-shotting people and having no armor, eventually that's just going to make you a better tanker in the end. And, hopefully you don't get too frustrated playing a tank. Just whatever you do, you're going to be making money. Just remember that. So, thanks for watching, guys. Hope you learned something here. Give me a like if you did, and comment on what other reviews you would like to see in the future. See you around and have a good one.